This recording will erase itself in 12 hours. The hotel's rules, not mine. My name is Daniel Carr, 41 years old, former firefighter, current coward. 3 days ago, I arrived at the Memoria Hotel thinking I'd found a job. Instead, I found my daughter. She's been dead for 6 years, but here, she's still dying, over and over, every night at the same time. And the hotel wants me to watch. I have until sunrise to decide, save her and lose myself, or burn this place down and lose her forever. The clock on the wall just struck 3 a.m. I'm out of time. Let me start from the beginning, before I understood what this place really is. Before I knew that some buildings don't just remember the dead, they collect them. The job posting appeared on my phone 3 days after I'd lost everything else. Not appeared, manifested. I hadn't been scrolling job sites. I'd been staring at Emma's photo, the one from her 8th birthday, 3 weeks before the fire. Before my hands shook too much to hold a hose steady. Before the investigation. Before the departmental review that cleared me legally, but destroyed me morally. The phone screen flickered. The photo disappeared. Text replaced it. Night curator needed Memoria Hotel. Archival division $8,000 per week. Requirements: experience with loss, comfortable with silence, ability to count. Ability to count, strange requirement. I should have deleted it. I should have thrown my phone into the river like I'd planned to do with myself the week before. But $8,000. And what did I have to lose that I hadn't already burned? I called the number. It rang once. A woman's voice, crystalline and ancient, asked 3 questions. Have you ever watched someone die? Yes. Can you follow instructions precisely? Yes. When you close your eyes, what do you see? Fire, I said. Always fire. Perfect, she said. You start tonight. The door will recognize you. The line went dead. I packed what little I owned. Clothes, my old firefighter's watch, stopped at 3:47, the time Emma died. A photograph and guilt so heavy it had its own suitcase. The Memoria Hotel stood 3 hours north, deep in the Cascade Mountains. The GPS lost signal 20 miles out. I followed signs that appeared exactly when I needed them. Wooden markers that looked freshly painted despite the forest's obvious age. Memoria, 15 miles. Memoria, 8 miles. Memoria. You're expected. That last sign made my skin crawl. The hotel appeared suddenly, as if the trees had been hiding it. Not a hotel, really. A mansion. Victorian architecture gone wrong. Additions built onto additions. Wings sprouting at impossible angles. 4 stories visible, but the windows suggested more floors than the exterior should contain. Every window was dark except one on the 3rd floor, where amber light pulsed like a heartbeat. The parking lot held 3 other cars, all covered in dust thick enough to write in. I checked the nearest one. The dust pattern suggested years, not days. The front door was glass and oak, Art Nouveau designs etched into the panels. As I approached, the door swung inward silently. No one greeted me. The lobby smelled wrong. Not musty or abandoned. It smelled like memories. Specifically, like the cologne my father wore to my mother's funeral, mixed with Emma's strawberry shampoo, mixed with smoke from the fire that killed her. Impossible. Those scents couldn't coexist. But they did. The reception desk was marble. The wall behind it covered in small brass mailboxes, numbered 001 through infinity. They seemed to multiply the longer I looked, numbers climbing higher than the building could physically contain. On the desk, a brass bell, a leather journal, and a brass key with the number 13 engraved in its handle. I opened the journal. The first page, in perfect copperplate handwriting. Welcome, Curator Carr. You will find your room on the 3rd floor. Before you ascend, you must understand what we are. We are not a hotel. We are an archive. We do not house guests. We preserve moments. Every room contains someone's last perfect memory before their world ended. Your job is to maintain the integrity of these recordings. The residents must not know they are memories. They must believe they are still alive. This requires precision. Hence, the rules. I turned the page. The rules were not written. They were engraved into the page, pressed into the paper, with such force that running my fingers over them felt like reading Braille. Rule 1. Every hour, move one object in the lobby exactly 3 centimeters to the left. The objects will move themselves back. This maintains temporal flow. If you forget, time will skip. You will lose minutes you cannot recover. I touched the brass bell. It was cold enough to burn. Rule 2. The elevator serves 13 floors. You live on the 3rd. Never press 1, 7, or 13. Floor 1 is still happening. Floor 7 has already ended. Floor 13 is where memories go when we fail to preserve them. Rule 3. Mirrors throughout the hotel must be angled exactly 15 degrees away from perpendicular. This prevents the residents from seeing themselves too clearly. Recognition breaks the preservation. I looked up. Every mirror in the lobby was tilted slightly, their reflections showing the room from angles that made my eyes hurt. Rule 4. When you hear your name, answer, but never with the name you were called. The memories are searching for their lost people. If you confirm their search, you become part of their recordings. Rule 5. Count your steps. Every journey must end in an odd number. If you reach your destination in an even number of steps, take one more step in any direction. Even numbers create loops. Loops are dangerous. Rule 6. The residents will invite you into their memories. You may observe from doorways, but never enter. To enter is to be recorded. To be recorded is to become a memory yourself. My hands started shaking. This was insane. I should leave. I turned to go. The front door was gone. Where it had been, a wall. Victorian wallpaper, undamaged, as if there had never been an entrance. Rule 7. Between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., all memories experience their endings simultaneously. Stay in your room. Lock the door. Do not listen to what happens in the halls. The sounds of 1,000 deaths occurring at once can break a human mind. I checked my watch. 8:47 p.m. I had 6 hours. Rule 8. Your room, 313, contains one object that does not belong. Find it before midnight. Remove it from the hotel. If it remains at midnight, it will become part of your memory and you will begin to loop. Rule 9. The woman in room 237 will ask you for help finding her daughter. Her daughter is in room 238. Never tell her this. The moment she finds her daughter, both memories will end and we will lose them both. Rule 10. Kitchen is in the basement. Food is prepared fresh each day by the previous curator. When you eat, you will taste what they were feeling when they cooked it. Fear tastes like copper. Resignation tastes like ash. Hope tastes like vanilla. Choose your meals accordingly. Rule 11. The hotel's architecture changes to accommodate new memories. Hallways extend, rooms appear. If you encounter a door that wasn't there before, knock 3 times and wait. If someone answers, apologize and leave. If no one answers after 30 seconds, the room is ready to be catalogued. Enter and record what you see in this journal. Rule 12. Every object in the hotel is exactly where it needs to be. If you find something out of place, it is a message from a previous curator. Decode it. They died trying to warn you. Rule 13. The page was blank. I flipped forward, backward, held it to the light. Nothing. Then, slowly, words appeared, bleeding through the paper like rust through white cloth. Rule 13. One memory in this hotel is yours. Find it before it finds you. When it does, you will understand why you were hired, and you will face the choice all curators face: preserve the memory and stay forever, or destroy it and forget she ever existed. The words faded, leaving only a brown stain that looked disturbingly like dried blood. She, Emma, my daughter, was here. I stood in the lobby, the journal trembling in my hands, and understood with absolute clarity that this was not a job. This was a trap, a cage designed specifically for me, and I was going to walk right into it. Because if Emma was here, if some echo of her existed in this impossible place, I would find her, even if it cost me everything, especially because I had nothing left to lose. I checked my watch. 9:03 p.m. Rule 1 said to move an object every hour. I had 57 minutes. The elevator was brass and glass, Art Deco, beautiful and wrong. Inside, the buttons were arranged in a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Between 7 and 8, someone had scratched a warning. Don't. I pressed 3. The elevator rose with a sound like breathing, not mechanical, organic. The glass walls showed the lobby dropping away, then the second floor passing, rooms visible through their open doors. In one room, a man sat at a dinner table set for 2, waiting. He'd been waiting so long that dust covered his shoulders like snow. In another, a woman danced alone to music I couldn't hear, her movements perfect, her face ecstatic. In another, a child built a tower of blocks, knocked it down, built it again, knocked it down. The motion looped so smoothly, I couldn't see where the memory ended and began. The third-floor hallway was longer than the building's exterior should allow. Brass sconces provided light that moved like firelight, but produced no heat. The carpet was deep burgundy, and walking on it felt like walking on something alive. Room numbers in brass: 301, 302, 303. I counted my steps. 17. Odd. Good. Room 313 was at the end of the hall, the last door before the corridor bent at an angle my eyes couldn't follow. The brass key slid into the lock with a click that sounded like recognition. Inside, a bedroom decorated in a style I'd never chosen but felt intimately familiar with. The bed was the same model I'd owned 10 years ago. The chair by the window was my father's. The painting on the wall, a forest fire at sunset, I'd seen in a gallery the week before Emma died and almost bought. This room was assembled from my almosts and used to haves. Rule 8. Find the object that doesn't belong. I searched methodically, checked the closet, my clothes somehow already unpacked, the bathroom, my toiletries, my razor, the nightstand, a book I'd been meaning to read for years. Everything belonged and nothing belonged. Then I saw it. On the windowsill, a child's drawing, crayon on construction paper, a stick figure girl holding hands with a stick figure man, both standing in front of a house. Smoke rising from the chimney. No, not smoke. Fire. The house was on fire. In the corner, in a child's handwriting, Me and Daddy, by Emma Carr, age 8. My vision blurred. This was the drawing she'd made the day before the fire, the one I'd found in her backpack after, the one I'd buried with her because I couldn't stand to look at it. How was it here? I picked it up with shaking hands. It was warm, as if she'd just finished drawing it. This was the object that didn't belong. I had to remove it from the hotel before midnight. I looked out the window to orient myself, to plan my escape route. The forest outside was burning. Not a reflection, not a memory. The actual forest, currently on fire, flames climbing the trees, smoke blotting out the stars. But there was no heat, no sound. Silent fire, frozen fire. Fire that had been burning for 6 years and would burn forever. I stepped back from the window. My watch read 9:47 p.m. I had 13 minutes to find a way out of the hotel and dispose of the drawing. But the front door was gone. I opened the door to my room. The hallway had changed. It was longer now, doors multiplying, numbers climbing higher. 314, 315, 316. And at the far end, where the hallway bent impossibly, a small figure, a girl, 8 years old, blonde hair in the pigtails I used to braid every morning. She turned and looked directly at me. "Daddy?" "Emma." I ran, counted steps without thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rule 5. Odd numbers only. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The hallway stretched as I ran, distances becoming meaningless. 12, 13, 14, 15. Emma wasn't moving, but she was getting closer. "Daddy, where were you?" 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. I skipped 20 deliberately. 22, 23. I reached her in 23 steps. She looked exactly as she had the morning of the fire. Pink dress with the butterfly on the collar. Light-up sneakers she'd begged for. The tiny scar on her chin from when she fell off her bike. She was perfect. She was impossible. "Emma," I started. "That's not my name," she said, and smiled. Rule 4. When you hear your name, answer, but never with the name you were called. She'd answered to Emma, which meant she wasn't Emma. "What are you?" I whispered. "I'm what you remember," she said. "I'm the last good morning, before you went to work, before the call came. I'm the moment when everything was still okay. You're a memory. We're all memories here, Daddy." She reached for my hand. Her fingers were warm, real. But some of us are stronger than others. Some of us have been remembered so hard, so often, that we've become real. I pulled my hand back. "Emma is dead." "Yes," the not Emma said. "But here, she doesn't have to be. You can stay. You can remember me forever. Isn't that what you wanted?" I looked down at the drawing in my hand. "Rule 8, I said. "I have to remove this before midnight. Do you?" Not Emma tilted her head. "Or do you want to keep it? Keep me?" My watch read 9:58 p.m. 2 minutes. "Where's the exit?" I demanded. "There isn't one," she said. "There's never been one. Every curator learns this eventually. The hotel doesn't trap you. You trap yourself. You came here looking for what you lost. Did you really think you'd leave once you found it?" "I came here for a job." "No," not Emma said, and her voice was sad and ancient. "You came here to die, just like all the others. The hotel doesn't choose random people, Curator Carr. It chooses the ones who are already ghosts, the ones who stopped living when someone else stopped breathing." She was right. I'd been dead since the fire, just walking around, pretending. My watch read 10 p.m. The drawing in my hand began to warm, the paper curling, edges beginning to smoke. "It's too late," not Emma said. "It's part of your memory now, part of your loop. You'll stay here in room 313, and you'll remember the morning before the fire forever and ever, and you'll never have to face what came after." "What came after," I said slowly, "was that I couldn't save her. Exactly. Here, you don't have to save anyone. You don't have to fail. You can just stop. The drawing was burning now, flames consuming the crayon lines, but it wasn't being destroyed. It was transforming, becoming more real, more solid. I made a decision. I walked to the nearest mirror, angled 15 degrees off perpendicular, and adjusted it, turned it to face me directly. Not, Emma screamed. In the mirror, I saw the truth. The hallway was empty, had always been empty. I was alone, holding a burning piece of paper, talking to myself. But beyond my reflection, I saw them, the other curators. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, each standing in front of their room, each holding an object, each talking to ghosts. And at the end of the hall, in front of room 347, a man in a firefighter's uniform, his face obscured by smoke, holding a small hand, Emma's hand, the real Emma, not a memory, the actual moment, the recording of 3:47 p.m. 6 years ago, when I'd tried to carry her out of the burning building and failed. That was my memory. Room 3:47. The mirror cracked. Not Emma was gone. I was alone in a hallway that was already rearranging itself. Room numbers shuffling. 3:47 moving farther away. The drawing in my hand had stopped burning. It was whole again, pristine, as if nothing had happened. My watch read 10:01 p.m. I'd failed Rule 8, and somewhere in the hotel, a clock began to chime. The hotel shifted, not metaphorically, literally. The walls contracted like a throat swallowing. The floor tilted 5 degrees to the left, and every door in the hallway opened simultaneously. From each room, music, different songs, different eras, all playing at once, creating a cacophony that resolved into something almost harmonic, almost beautiful, definitely wrong. I stumbled to my room, 313, and slammed the door. Inside, the room had changed. The furniture was the same, but there were 2 of everything now. 2 beds, 2 chairs, 2 versions of the painting, and standing by the window, looking out at the burning forest, me, another me, wearing the same clothes, same expression, same stopped watch. He didn't turn around. "You failed Rule 8, he said. "Now there are 2 of us. Every time you fail a rule, the hotel makes another copy. By the end, there will be hundreds. A whole hotel filled with versions of you, each one stuck in a different failure. That's not possible. You're talking to yourself in a hotel that archives memories, and you're worried about what's possible." He finally turned. His face was mine, but older, worn. "I'm you from 3 loops ago. I've done this before. You'll do it again." Loops. Time isn't linear here. It's recursive, folded. You'll live the same days over and over, making different choices, failing different rules, until eventually you'll make the right choice. He smiled, and it was my smile, broken. Or until you stop caring about the difference. What's the right choice? Find Emma. Room 347. Face what happened. And then you choose. The hotel will offer you a deal. It always does. He walked toward me, and as he got closer, I saw the differences. His hands were scarred, burned. His eyes were hollow. He'd been here much, much longer than 3 days. "How many times have I done this?" I asked. "I don't know. I lost count after 17. He reached past me and opened the door. "But I can tell you what happens next. In 7 minutes, the woman from room 237 will knock on your door. She'll ask for help finding her daughter. You'll want to tell her the truth. Don't. That's Rule 9. "Why not? Why keep them apart?" "Because," he said. The moment they reunite, their memory ends. They disappear. The hotel loses that recording, and the hotel doesn't like losing things. So, I'm supposed to keep a mother separated from her daughter forever. You're supposed to preserve the memory. That's the job. That's torture. Yes, he agreed. It is, but it's also the only thing keeping them alive. In any sense, that matters. He walked past me into the hallway. Where are you going? To room 347, he said. I'm going to try something different this time. Maybe it'll work. Maybe I'll finally get out. What are you going to try? He looked back, and his expression was something between hope and despair. I'm going to let her go. He walked down the hallway, counting his steps aloud, and disappeared around the impossible bend. I never saw him again. 40 seconds later, someone knocked on my door. I opened the door. The woman was in her 30s, elegant, wearing a dress from the 1950s. Her makeup was perfect. Her smile was desperate. I'm sorry to bother you, she said, but I can't find my daughter. Have you seen her? She's 6 years old, brown hair, wearing a yellow dress. We were playing hide and seek, and now I can't. Her voice cracked. I can't find her anywhere. Rule 9. Don't tell her. Her daughter is in the next room. But I could see room 238 from where I stood. The door was slightly ajar. Through the gap, I could see a little girl in a yellow dress, curled up behind a dresser, giggling silently, waiting to be found. This was the moment. The last perfect moment before something ended. How long have you been looking? I asked. I don't know. Hours, days. Time is strange here. She touched her forehead. Sometimes I forget things, forget where I am, but I always remember Sarah. I always remember I need to find her. What happens when you find her? The question seemed to confuse her. What do you mean? We'll go home, back to our house. It's just... She trailed off, eyes unfocusing. I can't remember where home is. Isn't that silly? What's the last thing you remember? Before the hotel? Sarah and I were... She frowned. We were at the park. Yes, the park near our house. She wanted to play on the swings. And then... Her face went blank. And then we were here, playing hide and seek. That's all. That's everything. She was crying now, perfect makeup running, but she didn't seem to notice. Please, she whispered. Please help me find her. I'm so tired. I just want to find her and rest. I could tell her. I could point to room 238, let them reunite, let this end. But the other mare's words echoed. The moment they reunite, they disappear. Was it kinder to let her keep searching, or kinder to end it? Room 238, I said. She looked at me, hope and confusion warring on her face. What? Your daughter is in room 238. She's hiding behind the dresser. The woman's expression transformed. Joy so pure, it was painful to witness. Thank you, she breathed. Thank you, thank you. She ran to room 238, threw open the door. Sarah, Mommy found you. The little girl emerged from her hiding place, laughing, delighted. Took you long enough, Mommy. They embraced, and as they held each other, they began to fade. Not slowly, quickly, like film overexposed to light. First translucent, then transparent, then gone. The room was empty. The hotel shuddered, and I felt it. A wave of anger, or maybe hunger, rolling through the building like a growl. I'd broken Rule 9. My watch read 10:23 p.m. The door to room 238 slammed shut. When I tried the handle, there was no handle, just smooth wall. The room had been erased. A woman's voice came from behind me. The same voice from the phone call, crystalline and ancient. That was cruel, Curator Carr. I turned. She stood at the end of the hallway, impossibly tall. Or maybe the hallway had shrunk around her. She wore a dress made of hotel wallpaper, her face obscured by a veil of cobwebs. You gave them hope, she continued. Hope is the cruelest gift. Now they're gone, and I have nothing left of them. 2 more memories lost. They're free, I said. Free? She laughed, and it sounded like breaking glass. You think ceasing to exist is freedom? You think oblivion is preferable to preservation? I think being trapped in your worst moment forever isn't living. And yet, she said, moving closer without appearing to walk, here you are. You came to this hotel knowing what it was. You're searching for your daughter's memory. If I offered you the chance to see her again, to hold her, to return to the morning before the fire, would you refuse? That's not real. Neither are you, she said. Not anymore. You died in that fire, Curator Carr. Not physically, worse. You died when she did. Your body kept moving, but you've been a ghost for 6 years. She was close enough to touch now. Up close, I could see her veil wasn't cobwebs. It was smoke, frozen, turned to lace. I don't make people into memories, she whispered. I preserve them. This hotel is an archive of love. Every room contains someone's last moment of happiness. The mother finding her daughter. The man waiting for his wife to come home. The child building towers that never fall. Those aren't moments of happiness, I said. They're moments before tragedy. Exactly. Before. That's the point. Here, the tragedy never comes. The wife always arrives. The towers never fall. The house never burns. But it's a lie. It's better than the truth. She raised one hand, long fingers, too many joints, and touched my chest. I felt something crack inside me. You broke 2 rules tonight, she said. The hotel requires balance. You must pay for the damage. The hallway began to spin. No, I was falling. Down through the floor, through the ceiling of the 2nd floor, still falling, through the 1st floor, into the basement, into darkness, into... I landed on cold tile. The basement kitchen was vast, industrial, designed to feed hundreds. Copper pots hung from the ceiling like sleeping bats. The ovens were dark, but I could feel heat radiating from them anyway. At the center, a prep table made of butcher block, scarred with knife marks that looked disturbingly deliberate. Letters carved into the wood. Names. I stepped closer, counting my steps automatically. 7, odd, good, and read the names. Marcus Chen, 47 days. Sarah Winters, 12 days. David Ortega, 200s, 3 days. Pavel Kuznetsov, 891 days. 23 names. 23 previous curators. At the bottom, freshly carved, still weeping sap. Daniel Carr, 0 days below the names. A message in different handwriting. Rule 10. You will eat what we felt. I'm sorry. I was so afraid. Marcus. I opened the industrial refrigerator. Inside, meals prepared and labeled with dates. Each one in a clear container, perfectly preserved. The most recent was labeled 3 days ago, resignation casserole. I opened it. It smelled like ashes and giving up. My stomach turned. But I was hungry. I hadn't eaten since arriving. And Rule 10 said the food was prepared by the previous curator. Eating it meant tasting their emotions. I needed to understand what they'd felt, what they'd known. I took a bite. The taste was overwhelming. Not flavor, but feeling. Exhaustion. Despair. And underneath, faint as a whisper, relief. The previous curator had been relieved to stop fighting. I checked other meals. 12 days ago, panic soup tasted like copper and electricity. 47 days ago, hope bread tasted like vanilla and sunlight. The pattern was clear. They'd all started hopeful, gradually worn down until resignation set in. I was on day 0. How long until I carved my surrender into the table? I searched the kitchen for something, anything useful. In the cupboards, dishes for hundreds, all bone china, all matching. In the drawers, knives, spoons, forks, arranged with obsessive precision. And in the back of the lowest drawer, hidden under cloth napkins, a key. Heavy brass, no number, but inscribed with a single word, records. I took it. My watch read 11:47 p.m. 13 minutes until midnight. 13 minutes until Rule 7 took effect. Between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., all memories experienced their endings simultaneously. Wait. My watch said 11:47, but Rule 7 specified 3 a.m. I had 3 hours, not 13 minutes. I looked at the watch more carefully. The time had changed. Not moving forward normally, jumping. 11:47, 11:53, 12:09, 12:31. Time was skipping. Rule 1, move an object every hour or time will skip. I hadn't moved anything in over an hour. I was losing minutes I couldn't recover. The watch jumped again. 1:15 a.m. I ran for the stairs. The records key fit a door I hadn't noticed before, between floors 2 and 3, hidden in the stairwell's blind spot. The room beyond was circular, walls lined floor to ceiling with filing cabinets, each drawer labeled with a room number and date range. I found drawer 347 and pulled it open. Inside, a single file folder, thick, bursting with photographs and documents. I opened it. The first photograph was of the house, my house, taken the morning of the fire. The second, Emma's school picture from that year. The third, me in my firefighter's uniform, smiling, unaware. Then the sequence of the fire. Not official photos. These were from inside the building, impossible angles, as if someone had been there recording everything. Emma in her room, colouring. Smoke beginning to seep under the door. Emma noticing, confused. Emma opening the door. I'd told her never to open doors during a fire, but she was 8. She was scared. Flames in the hallway. Emma running back to her room, slamming the door. Emma at the window, trying to open it. It was painted shut. I'd been meaning to fix it. Smoke filling the room. Emma on the floor, coughing. Emma still. The photographs ended, but the file continued. A transcript. Memory recording. 347. Subject. Daniel Carr. 3:47 p.m. Subject enters building. 3:48 p.m. Subject reaches second floor. Hears daughter calling 3:49 p.m. Subject attempts to breach door to room 3:50 p.m. Subject successfully enters room 3:51 p.m. Subject finds daughter unresponsive. 3:52 p.m. Subject attempts CPR. 3:53 p.m. Subject lifts daughter, moves toward exit. 3:54 p.m. Ceiling collapse. Subject pinned. 3:55 p.m. Subject continues attempting to reach daughter. Despite injuries. 3:56 p.m. Other firefighters arrive. Extract subject. 3:57 p.m. Subject restrained, sedated. Memory loops at 3:47 p.m. Subject returns to moment of entry. Loop continues indefinitely. I read it 3 times before I understood. Room 3:47 wasn't Emma's memory. It was mine. I was the one trapped in a loop, replaying the moment I entered the burning house, trying again and again to save her, failing every time. The hotel hadn't preserved Emma. It had preserved my failure. My watch jumped. 2:47 a.m. 13 minutes until the memories ended. 13 minutes to reach room 347 and face what I'd been running from for 6 years. I ran. The hallway had rearranged itself again. Room 347 was no longer at the end. It was right next to room 313, as if the hotel had brought it to me. Number. As if it had always been there, and I'd finally stopped running. The door was warm to the touch. From inside, the sound of fire, muffled but constant. I turned the handle. Inside was not a hotel room. Inside was Emma's bedroom, exactly as it had been. Princess posters on the walls, stuffed animals arranged on the bed, smallest to largest, the way she insisted. Her art table by the window, covered in crayons and half-finished drawings. And sitting at that table, back to me, a girl with blonde pigtails, drawing. I counted my steps as I entered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I stopped at 5. Odd number. Safe. Emma? She didn't turn around. Daddy, I'm making you a picture. Sweetheart, we need to go. Not yet. I'm not done. There's a fire. We have to leave. I know, she said, still drawing. But if I don't finish this, you'll forget what I look like. My throat closed. I could never forget you. You already have, she said, and finally turned around. Her face was wrong. Not burned, not ghostly, just wrong. Features slightly off, like a photograph out of focus. This wasn't Emma. It was my memory of Emma, degrading over time, details lost to grief and guilt. Every day you forget a little more, not Emma said. The exact shade of my eyes, the scar on my chin, the way I laughed. Soon I'll be just a feeling. Then not even that. That's why you're here? The hotel preserves you. The hotel preserves the forgetting, she corrected. It archives the moment when love becomes loss. That's what it feeds on. Not happiness, the instant happiness ends. She held up the drawing. The same one I'd found in my room. Stick figures, burning house. I drew this that morning because I'd had a dream, she said. I dreamed our house was on fire and you came to save me. And in the dream, you did. You carried me out and everything was okay. But that's not what happened. No, what happened was you came to save me and the ceiling fell and you couldn't reach me and I was alone. The room was getting hotter. I tried, I whispered. I know, but trying and succeeding are different things. She set the drawing down. The question is, what do you want to remember? The trying or the failure? I don't understand. The hotel gives you a choice, Daddy. Every curator gets the choice. You can stay here in room 347 and live in the moment before the ceiling fell. The moment when you still might save me. You can try forever and never fail because you never finish. That's hell. Or, she continued, you can accept what happened. Let the memory go. Let me go. Walk out of this room and forget. Forget you. Forget the trying. Remember the having. Remember the 8 years when I was alive, not the one moment when I died. I looked around the room. It was beginning to smoke. The loop was starting. Soon the ceiling would collapse. Soon I'd be pinned. Soon other firefighters would pull me out, and I'd wake up in a hospital, and someone would tell me Emma was gone, and the loop would reset. Unless I left now. If I leave, I said, what happens to you? I stop being your failure, not Emma said, and go back to being your daughter. Just memories. Regular memories. The kind that fade gently instead of burning forever. And the hotel? The hotel loses me, and it hates losing memories. What will it do? Try to keep you. Trap you in another room, another loop. There are hundreds of empty rooms waiting for new curators, new failures to preserve. The smoke was thicker now. I had seconds. Come with me, I said. I can't. I was never here, Daddy. This is just you, talking to yourself, trying to make sense of the senseless. Then what's the point? The point, she said, and smiled. And for just a second, the focus sharpened, and I saw my actual daughter, clear and true, is that you finally stop trying to save me and start trying to save yourself. The ceiling cracked. I ran. I burst out of room 347 as it collapsed behind me, flames erupting into the hallway. But the fire was contained. It couldn't leave the room. The memory was sealed. The hallway was chaos now, every door opening and closing, rhythmic like breathing. From each room, sounds of endings, crashes, screams, whispers, silence. 1,000 different ways to lose everything, all happening at once. My watch read 3 a.m. Rule 7. All memories experience their ending simultaneously between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Stay in your room. Lock the door. Don't listen. But I wasn't in my room. I was in the hallway, surrounded by the sound of collective grief. From room 312, a man's voice, confused. Where did everyone go? From room 315, a woman singing a lullabies to a child who was no longer there. From room 320, laughter slowly fading, like a radio losing signal. I stumbled toward room 313, my room, my sanctuary, and found the door locked. I pounded on it. Let me in. From inside, my own voice, muffled. You can't come in. You're not real. I'm real. You're just a copy. Another me. Another loop. The hotel had created a new version to replace the one I was becoming. I ran. The elevator. I could reach the lobby, find a way out. But when I reached the elevator, the buttons had changed. No numbers anymore. Just words. Beginning, middle, end, nowhere. I pressed nowhere. The elevator descended. The elevator opened onto a floor that shouldn't exist. Floor 13 was where memories went when curators failed to preserve them. The trash heap of lost moments. The hallway was infinite. Doors on both sides stretching into vanishing point. Each door cracked, broken, light seeping through gaps. I walked forward, not counting steps anymore. Numbers didn't matter here. Through one broken door, a wedding reception, everyone frozen mid-dance, already fading to sepia. Through another, a child's birthday party, the birthday girl blown out candles, wish never coming true. Through another, a deathbed, family gathered, last words unspoken, memories dying because no one was left to remember them. At the end of the hallway, a desk, and behind it, the woman in the wallpaper dress. Welcome to where forgotten things go, she said. You're the hotel, I said, not the owner. You are the hotel. I'm what the hotel became, she corrected. I was the first curator, 100 years ago. I loved someone, lost them, couldn't let go. So I made a place to keep them. One room, one memory. But memory is hungry. It needs more, always more. So I added more rooms, preserved more moments, and slowly, she gestured at herself. I became the archive. Now I can't leave, can't die, can't even remember what I was trying to preserve in the first place. I've forgotten everyone except the forgetting itself. So you trap others to feed it. I preserve, she insisted. Without me, these moments would vanish completely. At least here, they exist, in some form. In the worst form, I said, locked in their pain forever. Better than nothing. Is it? She stared at me with eyes that might have been windows, might have been mirrors. You came here to find your daughter, she said. Did you? I found what I made her into, not who she was. And now I'm leaving, and I'm taking her with me. Impossible. Memory 347 is mine. I've preserved it. You can't remove it. I pulled out the drawing, Emma's drawing, the one that had burned and unburned, the object that didn't belong. This is mine, I said. Not the memory of the fire. This, the morning before, when she drew this because she dreamed I'd save her. That's what I'm keeping. The hotel woman's face contorted. That violates the rules. I've broken all the rules, I said. What's one more? I walked past her, toward a door at the very end of floor 13. A door marked Exit. If you leave, she called after me, you'll forget everything. The hotel, the rooms, the rules. You'll forget that there was ever a chance to see her again. Good, I said. You'll only have normal memories, the kind that fade. That's called healing. I reached the door. Please, the hotel woman whispered, and for the first time she sounded human, desperate, alone. Please don't leave me here alone with all of this. I turned back. She was crying, smoke tears leaving trails down her paper face. I can't remember who I was before I was this, she said. Can't remember the person I lost. Just the losing, over and over. I thought preserving memories would help, but I'm drowning in everyone else's grief and I can't find my own anymore. Then let them go, I said. All of them. Stop preserving. Let the memories end naturally. If I do that, the hotel will collapse. I know. I'll cease to exist. You're already gone, I said gently. This is just your haunting. She looked at me, ancient and lost, and so tired. How? She whispered. I held up the drawing. Start with the beginnings, not the endings. Remember who she was before you lost her, not the loss, the love. Her hand, too many joints, made of shadow and wallpaper, reached out and touched the drawing. For a moment, her face solidified, became real, young, human. I remember, she breathed. Her name was Catherine. We were going to be married. And then the memory hit her like a wave. She gasped, smiled, and crumbled. The wallpaper dress dissolved. The smoke tears evaporated. The woman was gone, and the hotel began to shake. I ran for the exit door as the building collapsed around me. Behind me, doors burst open, memories flooding out. No longer trapped in loops, they played out to their natural conclusions. The mother and daughter, from 237 to 238, ran past me, hand in hand, both laughing, both fading, both free. The man waiting at the dinner table stood up, smiled, and disappeared. The child building blocks knocked down the tower one final time and moved on. Hundreds of memories, released, ending, becoming finally and properly past. I threw open the exit door. On the other side, not forest, not fire, my apartment. My actual apartment, the one I'd left 3 days ago. I stepped through, turned back. The door showed only my apartment hallway. The hotel was gone, but in my hand, the drawing. Real, solid, warm. I looked at it, really looked, for the first time in 6 years. Not at the fire, at Emma's smile, carefully crayoned in pink, at the way she'd drawn the sun with a happy face, at the signature, letters big and proud. This was before loss, before grief. This was just love. I hung the drawing on my refrigerator, and for the first time since the fire, I slept without dreaming of flames. The Memoria Hotel appeared on the news 7 days later. Hikers found the ruins in the mountains. The building had collapsed completely, they said. Structural failure. Must have been abandoned for years. No bodies recovered. No evidence of recent occupation. Just rubble and ash, and curiously, hundreds of photographs scattered among the debris. Polaroids of people smiling, celebrating, living. None of the photos showed the same person twice. Authorities were trying to identify them, to return them to families. I could have called, told them some of those photos were probably from my file, from room 347. But I didn't. Some things are better left as ruins. I went back to work, not firefighting. I couldn't, not yet, maybe not ever. But I got a job at a library in the archives section, preserving things, helping people find what they'd lost. It felt right. Every day, I walked past Emma's drawing on my refrigerator, and every day, I remembered a little less of the fire and a little more of everything else. Her laugh, her terrible jokes, the way she insisted on wearing mismatched socks because matching was boring. The memories faded, yes, but gently, naturally, the way they're supposed to. 3 weeks after I left the hotel, I received a letter. No return address, postmarked from a town that didn't exist. Inside, a single page, handwritten in elegant script. Dear Curator Carr, you asked how many times you'd looped. I lied. It wasn't 17, it was 347. Every loop, you made different choices, followed different rules, failed differently. But every time, you ended at the same place, unable to let her go. This was the first time you chose to remember the love instead of the loss. The hotel is gone. You freed 1,247 preserved memories. Some had been trapped for decades. They're grateful, though they'll never know to thank you. I'm grateful too. The hotel became my prison when I refused to grieve. You freed me by showing me it's possible to remember without being destroyed by it. My name was Eleanor. The woman I loved was Catherine. She died in 1924, and I built the Memoria Hotel to keep her. But in preserving her, I lost her. She became a memory of a memory, endlessly copied, never real. You taught me that holding on too tightly is just another way of letting go. I've moved on now, to wherever we go. I hope it's somewhere without loops. If you ever need to remember this, if you ever doubt what you did was right, look at the back of your daughter's drawing. Thank you for breaking the cycle. Goodbye, Eleanor. I pulled Emma's drawing off the refrigerator and turned it over. On the back, in crayon, words I'd never seen before. Daddy, if you're reading this, it means I'm gone. That's okay. I had a good dream about you saving me, and even if it didn't come true, I know you tried. Don't be sad forever. Remember the good stuff. I love you. Emma. I read it 3 times, cried for the 4th, then carefully hung the drawing back up, Emma's smile facing out. The message on the back stayed hidden, but knowing it was there, knowing she'd forgiven me before there was anything to forgive, was enough. I still get calls sometimes. Unknown numbers, distorted voices, offering jobs that sound too good to be true. A lighthouse keeper position, a night janitor at a museum, a caretaker for a cemetery. All isolated, all well-paying, all requiring the ability to follow specific instructions. I don't answer anymore, because I learned the truth about places like the Memoria Hotel. They don't trap you. You trap yourself. Every time you choose the pain over the healing, the guilt over the forgiveness, the memory of the ending over the memory of the everything else. There are probably dozens of these places, maybe hundreds, each one built by someone who loved so hard they couldn't stop, even after they should have. And they're all waiting for people like me, people broken enough to think they deserve to suffer forever. But here's what I know now. Grief isn't a hotel you check into and never leave. It's a room you visit sometimes, a place you return to when you need to remember. And then you leave. You close the door. You count your steps, odd numbers, always odd, to avoid the loops. And you walk back into the world, where memories fade naturally as they should, where the past stays past, where the people we love exist in the warm, blurry space between forgetting and remembering. Not preserved, not perfect, just loved. That's enough. That's everything.